Hi, 4-H photographers. This is your group leader. Going to show you a little bit about the clarity slider and the curves function, both in Lightroom and in Snapseed on your phone. This comes about as a result of Delilah's beautiful suburban picture in which she wanted to show the dirt, but still needed a white photograph. So let's switch over to Lightroom and take a look at modifying this photograph so that we can get what we want. Here we are in Lightroom, and we've got Delilah's photograph down here in the corner. We're going to edit that, hitting the D button for develop. And we have this lovely photograph, which Liam thought was gray, but is really supposed to be white. So there's a couple things we can do. First, we're just going to go ahead and hit the auto button, and that's pretty much going to get us our white. But as you can see, all that lovely dirt that Delilah wanted has pretty much gone away. Now, the clarity slider over here is a mid-tone contrast increase or decrease, depending on which way you move it. If we move it up into the plus zone, you can see that it increases the contrast of the mid-tones, which brings back a lot of Delilah's dirt. So that's a great way to do it. If we go the other way on clarity, it's hard to see on this photograph, but what it does is it provides a blur effect, kind of a glow effect on the photograph. And we'll take a look at that maybe on some other photographs later, but for now we'll just center that because I want to talk about the curves function. Curves function is in Lightroom is called tone curve. It's down here in the develop module, and in Snapseed it's called curves. Almost every good editing piece of software has a curves function. Along the bottom of the square are all of the pixel values from black on the left to white on the right. And as you can see in this picture, there's this lump over here that shows that almost all the pixel values in this picture are white. And this mimics the histogram up here at the top. Almost all of the pixel values are white in this picture. On the left, if we go up and down, those are what we call the output pixel values. If you have this curve that's a straight line from bottom left to upper right, then for every pixel value on the bottom, you go up to the curve, and then over to the left, you end up with the same pixel value on the output. If I grab one of these dots and move it, and let's say I move this up to the mid-range, that means that everything to the left of that dot is being converted to pure black. All of those tones below mid-range are being converted to pure black. So if I take this button and I slide it all the way out to the top, I've converted every tone in the photo to pure black. Well, almost every, as much as I can do. Conversely, if I bring this up, that means that I'm converting all of the tones in the photo to pure white. We can do the same thing here. We can bring that down, convert everything to pure black, or we can convert everything to pure white. You can do some really cool effects with that. I'll show you one really quick for this photo. Let's just say that you want a really stark black and white with nothing else in it. Well, you do that by just bringing these together in the right place, and you get this really cool effect where you have very few tones. It's almost like a posterized effect where you have very few tones in the photograph. So let's bring these back to the corners, and let's see how we can do this to modify Delilah's photo. So what we want is to bring up the whites. And so we're going to add a photo. All I have to do is click once here to add a point, double click it to delete it. So I click to add, and then I bring that up. Well, you can see it really increases the whites, but it also got rid of all of our dirt. So the way we get our dirt back is to bring this, using several points, bring this curve back down so that the midtones are darkened again, and we get our dirt. So there's a bunch of our dirt come back. This slider over here, I can see the effect of turning it off and on. And you can see that we've gotten much of what we wanted. I'm actually going to bring this up. I'm going to steepen this up. I'm going to bring it up so we get even more dirt. So here's really good dirt. And that's just with the curves function. Now if I bring the clarity over, you can see it even gets more dirt and more shadow. The Suburban's gotten a little dark. There's some haloing around there. So maybe what we do is we bring this up. Not quite so extreme. And that way we don't have our dirty, really bad Suburban, but we still get our dirt here in the mid-range, and we can bring our clarity up. Okay, so you can see now we have this nice white photo. It's clearly on a white car, and it's clearly very dirty. So that's how we do it in Lightroom. Now let's shift over to Snapseed, and we'll see how we do it in Snapseed for you phone users. Here on my phone, we head up to the upper left, open the photography section, open up Snapseed, tap, open the photo, bring it up, and it comes up in exposure section. Slide down to the structure option, and you can see the structure operates very much like clarity. It increases the contrast in the midtones. An alternative is to open Tools, Curves, and we end up with the same thing as the tone curve in Lightroom, wherein we can change things to all black and all white. Same thing in the upper, and I'm actually just putting my finger on these dots, turn the dot blue, and then move it. We can add dots by touching the curve and moving with our finger, and we get this classic S curve. And I'm going to do it again, but this time I'm only going to change the mid-range so that it looks like the structure slider. So tap, slide, tap, slide. Now bring the upper back to the line and bring the lower up to the line, and we end up with the mid-range. Just like the structures. And that's how we do it in Snapseed. So that's the clarity and structure and curves function. So go in, play with those. They're very powerful, and have fun. Thank you.